Good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Francis L. Cardozo Education Campus. I am Principal Roan. It is truly a pleasure to greet each of you on this monumental occasion, the Chancellor's Address on the state of DC Public Schools that is being held here in our beautiful, historic, and completely modernized campus. Our school's theme this year is Looking to the Future Where Dreams Are Realized. Our theme sets the tone for Cardozo's new beginning. It has been a dream come true as we walk the halls, classrooms, and facilities of our $124 million completely state-of-the-art campus. Our renovation highlights include an athletic center in which Cardozo, for the first time in the school's 85th year history, will play a home basketball game this coming Saturday at 5 p.m. Also notable is our new center stairwell with pictorial reflections of our school's history. Hopefully many of you all will see that tonight. Our majestic hallways and classrooms have fully restored oak hardwood floors. We have a 3-story east and west atriums, and our classrooms are equipped with 21st century technology. And on the third floor, we have a beautifully crafted and restored lecture hall. In addition to our new facilities, Cardozo has transitioned from a traditional high school to a 6th through 12th education campus. Let me take a moment to share with you a few highlights of the wonderful things that are going on here at Cardozo. Our students and dedicated staff have made a commitment to ensure that students' dreams are realized. This year, we introduced the Newcomers program that addresses our growing population of English language learners who are new not only to the community, but to our country. TransSTEM Academy and the Academy of Construction and Design remain anchors here at Cardozo, preparing our students for possible careers in these industries. We offer our students a wide array of advanced placement courses, such as AP Biology, AP U.S. History, English, Literature, and Composition. Beginning this spring, our students will be dually enrolled at courses at UDC. For our 6th through 8th grade students, our scholars are taking Introduction to Aviation, Automation, and Robotics. Cardozo has partnered with 3 organizations that provide daily support to our students. City Year, will you all please wave your hands, please? Yes. Communities in Schools, and Diplomas Now. These organizations afford our students with much-needed resources, from one-on-one tutorial support, classroom assistance, and after-school tutoring, and numerous extracurricular activities. Also, starting this year, we are in the planning phase to begin a new academy in information technology. We are honored to host the Chancellor's Address this evening. We would like to thank students, families, community members, and partners for your attendance this evening. As I look out into the audience, I see many recognizable faces. I would like to take the time to acknowledge our government officials, dignitaries, as well as school administrators, teachers, and staff from across the city. In closing, I first would like to extend an invitation for everyone tonight to come tomorrow to our ribbon cutting ceremony at 4:30 p.m. In addition, I want to acknowledge all of the hard work and help from the teachers and staff here at Cardozo who helped to support tonight's event. Audience, please join me in giving them a round of applause. I ask everyone to remain after the Chancellor's address for a reception and an opportunity to chat with the Chancellor and DCPS's leadership team members, to include central office chiefs, instructional superintendents, and school leaders who will be on hand to connect and engage you on great things that are happening in DCPS this school year. It is with great pleasure that at this time, I would like to welcome to the podium our fearless leader, Kaya Henderson, Chancellor of District of Columbia Public Schools. Join me at this time in welcoming her.
Thank you, Principal Rome, for that kind introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All right. My name is Kaya Henderson, and I'm the Chancellor of DC Public Schools. I am so excited to welcome you tonight to the state of DC Public Schools, right here at the brand new Cardozo Education Campus. Isn't this a gorgeous building? It is absolutely one of the best school modernizations that we, with our partners at the Department of General Services, have completed so far. And if you haven't taken a tour yet, I encourage you to do so later this evening. This building is so beautiful that it literally left one of Cardozo's students speechless. But it's not just an external makeover, as Principal Rohn shared. I can tell you firsthand that what's even more beautiful is the learning that's happening between these brand new walls. Cardozo is in the midst of a breathtaking transformation. It's a new beginning that signals turning the tide, not just for Cardozo, but for DC Public Schools in general. We are finally giving our children the environments and the resources to support and nurture student learning. I'm both inspired and humbled when I think about schools like Cardozo or Dunbar, like Ludlow Taylor and Henley Elementary Schools, and other recently modernized buildings. I'm inspired because I see the great things, the great work that our students are doing in these new environments. But I'm also humbled because I know we still have so much work to do if we're going to give our students the kind of education that they deserve. For years, people would describe DCPS as a place where the buildings were crumbling, where there were more kids outside the buildings than inside the buildings, where student expectations and educator morale were very low, where parental involvement was non-existent at best and combative at worst. Like nobody cared what was going on. But I'm going to ask you to come with me to the new DC Public Schools. I'm going to ask you to imagine something different. People ask me all the time, Chancellor Henderson, what's your vision for DC Public Schools? And usually I tell them, I want the same thing for all kids in DCPS that I want for my own kids. And usually that's enough. But tonight, I want to take a minute to show you what I really mean. I want you to see what I see inside my head when I think about where DC Public Schools is going. So close your eyes. Close your eyes. Your pocketbooks are going to be all right, I promise. Security all up in here. Close your eyes and imagine with me a very different DCPS. A place where every building is not just new, but top of the line, with state-of-the-art classroom designs, with professional arts and athletic facilities, and technology to enable our young people to thrive in the digital age. Imagine schools where educators in the building truly believe, I mean truly believe, regardless of the background that their students have or regardless of the circumstances, can outperform not just other kids in DC, not just other kids in the country, but kids across the entire globe. And imagine that those educators feel trained and supported and valued enough to actually deliver world-class outcomes for their students. Look, the National Teacher of the Year program is calling right now. DCPS, can you withdraw your applicants because your teachers are so head and shoulders above the other state's candidates? That's what I imagine. I see classrooms filled with students reading and writing and debating the critical issues of the day because we've taught them to be activists for the things that they believe in. Walk into the cafeteria with me and check out how full it is, because the food is actually really good and nutritious. Can you hear the noise in the hallway? There's laughter because kids are having fun. Multiple languages spoken because we've developed them as global citizens. There are robots shooting hoops and picking up trash because that's what kids have designed them to do. And there's music because so many of our young people have mastered the playing of instruments. On the walls, I see award-winning artwork. And there are screens and speakers that are broadcasting student-developed television and radio programs. In the library, there's a Model UN symposium where students who just got back from international trips are representing their country's perspective, not just from what they read in a textbook, but from what they experienced firsthand abroad. Imagine the parents of those students who aren't just proud of what their children are accomplishing, but who know exactly what their children are working on at any given moment and feel like they have the tools and the resources to help them excel. Imagine families and educators, politicians and district officials with a shared investment in the students that we work with. We're consistently working together as partners to ensure that we're delivering the very, very best for our young people. And imagine families who, when they move to the DMV, proactively decide not to move to Montgomery County, but who move into Washington, D.C., because no matter what neighborhood you live in, you can be guaranteed that your students will receive an education that will prepare them for the college or career of their choice, and you don't have to win the lottery for that to happen. Imagine that. That is my vision for DC Public Schools. I could go on for hours about what I see, but the long and short of it is, I don't think of our work as trying to fix a broken school system. I think about trying to create the best school system in the country, where everyone in this room would be proud to send their child to any school in the system. And that's real to me. That's real to me because I'm a DCPS parent. I want our two boys, a graduating senior and a second grader, to be prepared for anything that they choose to be. I want them to have educators who love them enough to hold them to the highest expectations and to give them the very best. I want them to have a solid academic foundation, but I also want them to be able to explore and develop the talents and interests that they have. I want them to love school, and I want our family to be part of their educational success. That's my vision for our boys, and that's my vision for every student and family in DC Public Schools. So tonight, I want to give you a sense of where we are and how we're going to get to where we're going. My hope is that by the end of the evening, you'll be clear about how we're going to achieve this very fantastic vision. I recently read Amanda Ripley's new book, The Smartest Kids in the World and How They Got That Way. And it is the best book I have read in a long time. I won't give you all the details because you should go out and buy it and read it yourselves. But I will give you the big takeaway. And the big takeaway is this. Amanda Ripley says that the rest of the world takes education way more seriously than we do in America. Period, the end. Other countries expect much more from their students than we do. They demand that their students demonstrate and apply knowledge assessments. When their students fail, they tell them so. But they want to help them develop the persistence to try again and to succeed. And other countries recognize that education is not just important, but literally critical to their nation's success. And so they invest in it, they support it, and they constantly press to be the very best in the world. It's very compelling and exactly in line with what we've been thinking about at DC Public Schools. We need to hold ourselves accountable to a much higher standard if we're indeed going to provide our students with a world-class education. How do we do that? We have to move the bar much higher. Our 5-year plan, a capital commitment, is the first step in holding ourselves to a different level of expectation and getting us on the road to the DCPS that we just visualized. We have the 5 big goals for the first 5 years. We want to improve our achievement rates, We want to invest in our struggling schools. We want to increase graduation rates. We want to make sure kids like their schools. And we want to make sure that the schools are so good that more and more parents want to enroll their children. Some people think these goals are ambitious. And I guess when you look at where we're coming from and where we're trying to go to, maybe they are. But I honestly believe, I see these goals as just the beginning, the necessary first steps on the road to the ideal DCPS. But I believe that they're attainable. And we've chosen a 5-year horizon because we know that we have a lot of work to do to get there. But we actually believe we can not only reach those goals, but go beyond. If we're going to ask our children to aim for new heights, then we should be ready to do the same. We're reaching for the stars, and a capital commitment is our blast off. The plan actually makes commitments to each and every one of you. We're striving to become a close-knit community, an extended family, really, of dedicated educators, of achieving students and supportive parents, and community members who believe in working together as one city to improve the quality of education in the District of Columbia. These are our commitments to you. If you're a student in DC Public Schools, and I see some in the audience, we commit that you'll have the opportunity to go to a great school, one that you love, that prepares you to succeed in life. If you're a parent, we commit to partner with you in your child's success. If you're a member of the community, we commit to provide real opportunities for you to contribute to the success of our schools and this district. To our DCPS employees, our educators and our staff members, we commit to respect you as professionals and to invest in you and your students with the environment, the resources, and the tools you need. To those of you who are potential employers in the audience, we commit to supply you with well-educated and well-prepared young adults who will make positive contributions to your organizations. And to the city we call home, Washington, D.C., we commit to making this school system one that all citizens are proud of. A school system that can be the anchor for thriving, productive, and growing communities. This is what we believe. These are the commitments that we're making to you. They're in our bones, and they inform every single thing that we do. Now, I know you're thinking, yeah, Kaya, right, that's great, sounds fantastic. But how? How are you going to get there? Well, let me tell you. We found that there are 3 key elements to reaching these sets of goals. First, we need the very best educators. Second, we have to provide our students with rigorous academics, with a special focus on growing a love for reading, writing, and thinking. And third, we need motivated students and engaged families. That's our theory of action. It sounds simple, but don't let the simplicity fool you. If we can ensure that there's a dynamic interaction between great educators, rigorous academic content, motivated students, engaged parents, all working together, there's nothing that can stop us from achieving these goals. Here's what it looks like. It's school leaders like the ones that you see over there, and educators who are all throughout the room, who have a laser-like focus on providing the best instruction to their students. They love their students, and they push them to be the very best. They use data to analyze their students' strengths and weaknesses. They work together to plan and execute the most engaging lessons possible. And they create a culture at a school where students and families and educators actually all feel like they're part of something special. And they constantly push themselves to improve their practice. It's when I walk into a classroom and I see a student hunched over a book or a book on a nook. They're absorbed in the story, and the world has basically stopped. Whether it's learning about friendship and bravery in kindergarten, or analyzing texts about justice through the ages in high school. We're aiming to foster a love of the written word that goes beyond Twitter or texting. We want our students to think critically, to express themselves on paper or in any other medium, to jump into the past, and to find the future through the best way possible, through books. And it's when I see families who take pride in helping their students succeed, Let me give you an example. A few weeks ago, Natina Kaya, no relation, a parent at Stanton Elementary School who's been participating in our family engagement work, came over to the central office to share her experience with our staff. She told us that she had a very difficult set of experiences with various schools and educators in the system. In fact, she called herself Hurricane Natina, because when the teachers saw her coming, they knew she was a force of nature. But as a result of the relationship she built with the teachers at Stanton, through home visits and the academic parent-team teacher meetings, she has a completely different outlook. She knows exactly what her kids are working on, and she has strategies to help them with their homework. She used to be skeptical about teachers and felt a big distance between them and herself. But you should have seen her face beaming when she talked about how important she felt when teachers listened to her priorities for her kids, and how empowered she felt to be part of her children's success. Hurricane Natina, still a force of nature, but now she's a force of nature for getting other parents involved. She shared with us, "This hasn't just changed my family, this is changing our entire community." I share that example for two reasons. First, if we're able to ensure that we have great teachers, rigorous academics, and engaged students and families, we won't just change the schools or the district, we'll actually change the entire community. But it's also important to recognize that we're no longer talking about what we're imagining. This is actually happening right now across DC Public Schools. Parents, educators, partners, and other people who are in our schools every single day say to me all the time, "Things are so different in DCPS, Chancellor Henderson. I wish more people knew what was happening." And what I've come to realize is that we've been so focused on doing the hard work that we don't always do a good job of communicating our success, of helping people understand how much progress we've actually made. So I want to take a few moments tonight to share with you how we're doing so far. Not so long ago, as you know, DCPS was in need of a big change. Schools were in disrepair, enrollment rates were declining, there was a lack of confidence, and some would even say a lack of competence in our schools. But over the past few years, there's been a renewed commitment by everybody in this city, investment and excitement that's changing the face of education in DC Public Schools. Everyone in this room knows that it has been a challenging process, yes? But today I'm here to tell you what some of us already know, and that is things are working in DCPS. Things are getting better in DCPS. DCPS is on the move, and it is headed in the right direction. Over the last few years, we've made enormous strides. Let's look at the obvious measure, and just one of many, mind you, but the obvious one, the DCCAS. Last year, DCPS showed the highest growth in proficiency since 2008 in reading and math on the DCCAS. Students in every ward in the city made gains in math, and students in all but one ward in the city improved in reading. Students in every single ward have shown steady reading progress, in fact, since 2007. And students in middle grades, where are my middle grades educators? Middle grades, what people say is the hardest nut to crack. Our middle grades saw the largest gains of anybody in the school district. No matter how you count it or cut it, the gains and the progress are unequivocal. Let me give you an example. Take Tubman Elementary School. Since 2007, Tubman has grown 54 percentage points in math and nearly 30 points in reading under the leadership of Principal Harry Hughes, who is around. Wave at us, Harry. There's Harry. Tubman invested in its teachers and allowed them to focus on their strengths, which ultimately better supported the students. Tubman's talented educators volunteered time before and after school, and even over the lunch period, effectively extending the school day to help support their students. Tubman holds their students accountable for their own learning. The children know their reading and math scores, they know where they're excelling, they know where they need to make more progress, And they know how to shop for independent reading books in their classroom libraries and in their school library that are appropriate to their reading level. Tubman also rewards its students regularly at rallies and assemblies and celebrates their success. It's such an amazing example of a place that's fostering a culture and a love of learning. And most people in this city would not believe that a school filled with children from disadvantaged backgrounds, and for whom many English is a second language, actually score higher on the Dcps than schools that other families are clamoring to get into. Now, I want to acknowledge that there have been all kinds of questions and concerns raised about the tests and the way the results are measured and ultimately reported. We want you to know that we are working to ensure that we will continue to accurately measure our children's specific progress. And at the same time, we're focusing on other assessments that are more closely aligned to what we're teaching. But it's not just about the CAS scores. As a district, we have a number of ways to measure how our students are achieving. Obviously, we use standardized test scores. And in fact, in just a few weeks, we'll know the results from the National Assessment of Educational Progress, the NAEP, also known as the Nation's Report Card. If our students are performing as well as we think they are, we expect to see progress on the NAEP, which will be yet another indication that we're on the right track. But beyond test scores, other indicators tell us that we're making progress. I'm proud to report to you today that enrollment is up at DCPS this year. You can clap for that. When we made the very tough decision last year to consolidate a number of schools, everybody predicted that families would flee DCPS and it would be the end, it would be the downward spiral. But I'm proud to report that this year, on our October 5th membership count, we actually have a higher number of students than we did last year on October 5th, despite the fact that we have 13 fewer schools. Our graduation rate is up slightly, and we haven't even gotten started on our high school redesign work. More students are passing classes than ever before. The truancy rate has dropped from 12% to 9%. Student satisfaction is better than ever before, and we're seeing higher levels of family participation. These measures are important indicators. We know we have a very long way to go, but these indicators tell us that we're headed in the right direction. These indicators also help us understand where to spend our energy and our resources. They've led us to a heavier focus on students engaging with literature at our schools, offering 9th grade academies at high schools, investing in strategies to make sure that our kids are coming to school every day. But there's so much more. You want to know about the state of DC Public Schools? Let me take you on a short journey through some of the other things that we're doing. They're centered around these essential ingredients for success: great educators, rigorous academic content, engaged students and families. I'm so proud of the investment that DCPS has made in getting, growing, and keeping the best educators. In fact, other people now are recognizing how far we've come on this front. Just today, an independent study out of UVA and Stanford validates that through our educator evaluation system and our performance pay plan, we are retaining our highest performers, we're helping teachers improve their practice through targeted support and professional development, and we're hiring teachers who are better than the ones that we're losing. This is a huge deal. You can clap. Councilmember Berry, we've also developed programs to help our best principals get even better and to grow our own future principals. In fact, this December, 25 of DCPS's leaders, and I see a bunch of them over there, will graduate from Georgetown's Executive Masters in Leadership program after a rigorous year of studying the best leadership practices. And we're already seeing tremendous results from these people. We currently have 12 people enrolled in the Mary Jane Patterson Fellowship. If you don't know who Mary Jane Patterson was, first African-American principal in DC Public Schools at the Dunbar Senior High School. And these Patterson Fellows are outstanding teachers, coaches, master educators, and others who are learning to lead schools under the very best DCPS principles. We're growing our own talent so that we don't always have to rely on other districts to produce the leaders we know we need. In fact, all of this work has been recognized by the U.S. Department of Education, in that DC Public Schools was awarded the largest teacher incentive fund grant in the country, over $6.2 million, more than New York, more than LA, more than Chicago, more than everybody else, to support our work, to get, grow, and keep the best talent. You know, I'm a little competitive, so, and you know, we're small compared to some of those other places, but we got a big heart. We've been relentlessly focused on making sure that there is a highly effective teacher in every single classroom and a highly effective leader in every single school building. And we'll support them well through subject-specific coaching, through training, through collaborative planning, through instructional rounds, where they get to actually go out and observe other teachers, where they actually norm student work across classrooms, and tons of other developmental opportunities. Our hope is to help our teachers be the best they can be so that our students can be the best they can be. And it's worth every single penny. You know what it is, right? Watching an amazing teacher do his or her thing is like watching a world-class musician, right? Or an athlete. They're just on. All you can do is watch and be inspired. And there are countless ones of them in DC Public Schools. Let me introduce you to a few. There's Dowan McNair Lee at Stewart Hobson Middle School. Stewart Hobson in the house. You might have read about her in Education Week this spring. She calls herself Teacher Mama because she loves her students so much. She told us that she believes that teaching is both an art and a science. The artist in me, she said, sees the classroom as a stage where I use my own life and experiences as guides to help my students acquire knowledge. The scientist in me uses data to track my students' progress and to make adjustments to my instruction. There's Christine Willis-Bennett at Capitol Hill Montessori, who says, I love to meet my students every single day with a smile, a handshake, or a hug to set the tone of the day. There's Nakia Espinal, a dance teacher at Sousa, who grew up in DCPS, so she fully understands where her students come from. She says, I often remind them that I was once them. I share their background, I share their neighborhood. And I always tell them that since we come from the same place, I take no excuses. There's Amador Jamuad, who has taught at Anacostia High School and now teaches at Banneker High School. Mr. Jamuad's class achieved 100% math proficiency on the DC CAS. And we could brush the dirt off his shoulder. This is the second time that he's achieved that milestone during his time at Banneker. Mr. Jumad says, I love the thought that as a teacher, I'm an instrument to help students reach their dreams and goals. And on November 4th, we'll salute these and other amazing educators at a standing ovation for DC Public Schools, our teacher recognition event at the Kennedy Center. If you have not gotten your ticket, go to www.standingovationfordcteachers.org, right, Catherine? And if you've never been, it will give you a front row view of the talented educators that we have in DC Public Schools. I think you'll also be excited by the celebrities that we've lined up to celebrate our awardees. We're also very proud of the significant investment we're making in ensuring that what students learn is rigorous. In other words, that the content will challenge them to grow and prepare them for the future. One way we're doing this is by implementing the Common Core standards across the district. Simply put, the Common Core is a roadmap that guides our students to a successful future. It's a set of standards that make sure that our students are preparing for a bright future from a very early age. And by pegging our curriculum to these new standards, we're making sure that our students can read complicated, real-life texts, that they can analyze and evaluate the things that they read, and that they can solve practical, challenging math problems. They gain the academic knowledge needed to solve the challenges that they will face as they move forward in their education and careers without remediation. As I mentioned before, we've developed our district-wide curriculum with a focus on literacy. We're committed to building a deep, lifelong love of reading. And while this may not seem revolutionary to you, when you see what our students are doing at every level, I think you'll have a very different opinion. We're now challenging students from an early age to engage deeply in texts that are worth their time and attention. We have first graders who are reading The Wizard of Oz. Our teachers help 6-year-olds engage with a complicated and magical and fascinating book. We're challenging all of our students to read beyond their grade level. We've provided students at 45 schools with the Junior Great Books series on tablets. They get the opportunity to read diverse, authentic, difficult stories that help them not just develop their reading skills, but their critical thinking skills. I encourage you to visit that booth on the gallery walk after my speech. So we have a strong focus on helping our students gain the critical thinking skills needed to be great readers. We're taking a similar approach to math instruction. First, our teachers are making sure students actually understand the math concepts, teaching and reteaching the different ways to do math so that our children are fluent and can do math automatically. Our teachers are also focused on applying school math to real-world situations. And we've given them new and different resources to do this, including classroom technology and blended learning programs, proven to meet students where they are in math and move them ahead. When we say blended learning, what we really mean is incorporating technology into the curriculum in a smart way. It's not just putting kids on computers. It's helping kids learn better through a blend of computer exercises and face-to-face teaching. You can see some of this close up at the gallery walk this evening. We believe technology has the ability to do incredible things if it's used strategically and carefully. Let me be clear, it can never replace an excellent teacher. But it can help motivate students who may have had trouble being excited about school before. And we're seeing that. It also allows teachers to cater to different levels in one classroom, differentiation, the hardest thing to do in teaching. It can also allow for learning to be individualized so that kids can go as fast as they need to go or as slow as they need to go. 3 schools, in fact, have embraced blended learning for all content areas: Kramer Middle School and Ketchum and Randall Highlands Elementary Schools. Many other schools are using a blended model for a significant portion of their instruction, such as math at Hart Middle School and the 9th grade academy at Anacostia High School. At Hart, for example, math classes are taught in a state-of-the-art learning lab featuring laptops, one for each and every student, and a specialized math program. At the beginning of the math period, students enter the learning lab and they check the monitors to see which stations they're going to rotate through for the day. Time in the lab is spent in 3 ways. Kids are either working with instruction, there are small groups of students working together, or individual students are practicing by themselves. Each day's sessions are determined by a short test that they take at the end of the day on the computer. That way, every student receives the personalized instruction that he or she needs. A student that's fallen behind will receive extra help, and a student that is zipping through the units can actually accelerate their progress. And we'll be exploring more and more ways to incorporate technology in the classroom, but we also recognize that we have to master the basics. You'll see we've devoted a substantial amount of resources to mastering the basics, from new assistant principals and specialists focus on reading, to beginning the complete modernization of our classroom libraries and our school libraries. And you will see that we will stay the course with this until all of our students are up to speed and beyond. That leads to some of the exciting things that we're doing for the 3rd ingredient: engaged families, students, and communities. I feel truly blessed. People tell me all the time, oh, your job is so hard. But I feel like I have the best job in the city. I feel truly blessed to work in a school district where so many parents are passionate and committed to their children and their schools. We know that every single parent cares deeply about their child's academic achievement. And that's why we're working more closely with families, because we know their involvement is critical to the success of their children, and our schools. That means we have to provide better information for our families. So we're currently working on improving student report cards so that parents can quickly and easily get a clear idea of how their child is progressing. We're also working to expand opportunities for parents to work with their students on lessons that fit with what's happening in schools. If we can help you understand what your child is reading, what your child's reading level is, what they should be on, you're better equipped at home when it comes to buying books or borrowing them from the library for your home reading. We're also making home visits. Remember Hurricane Natina, right? She's taking part in an initiative that the Office of Family and Public Engagement developed in partnership with the Flamboyant Foundation, an amazing partner with DCPS, to ensure that parents and teachers are partners from the very beginning of the school year. Teachers serving students of all ages in every ward in the city are going on home visits to build relationships with families. We recognize that parents know their children best, so we'll work with them in a more explicit way, listening to them to find out how we can work together to reinforce learning and to ensure their students' success. We plan to build on the success of this initiative by expanding across the entire district. And we want our children to be engaged and excited. So we've purchased new musical instruments. We've purchased tons of new computers. Mr. McPherson, we've purchased books for libraries. And and we've purchased new athletic equipment because we want our students to have the tools that they need to thrive not only inside the classroom, but outside the classroom. And we've improved cafeteria food. In fact, you can try it for yourself tonight at the food services booth. I could stand here all night long and tell you about the great things that we're doing. New buildings, early childhood education, new common lottery, whatever. But I want you to go out after the speech and walk through the gallery and see it, touch it, feel it for yourselves. Our staff members, our chiefs, our superintendents are on hand, and they're extremely excited to talk to you, and I'll be down there too. So as you can see, we're making a ton of progress. And I hope tonight you understand that you see it better than you did before. Let me get to where we're headed quickly so you can get home to watch Scandal. Because I'm going home to watch Scandal. After the gallery walk. If we are going to get to the DCPS that we envisioned earlier, we have to do some things very differently. We've already changed how we approach people, academics, and engagement, and we're going to continue innovating on those fronts. But let me be more specific about some big changes coming down the pike. You've heard me say before that we have to rethink our approach to high schools. High schools, as they aren't engaging and succeeding with all of our students the way they should. So we're working on plans to rethink high schools. We also have to develop a much stronger system for students who are interested in developing career and technical skills that will prepare them for high-wage jobs. So we're recreating our approach to career and technical education. In fact, I just got back from Germany, which has one of the best career and technical education systems in the world, to see how it's done, because we're going to do it the best here in America. We have to do even more than we've already done to ensure that all of our students have access to the arts, to music, to foreign languages, and to advanced academics. And so beyond just ensuring that those subjects are available in our schools, we're looking at creating citywide academies where students can access a number of AP courses in one building, or multiple foreign languages, or leadership and service experiences, or advanced music and arts classes. And we're challenging ourselves to think outside of the time box that has held us hostage. Schools in other parts of the world are able to work more deeply and more interestingly with their students because school days are longer and the school year is longer. We recognize that we have to pay better attention to ensuring that our students for whom English is not their first language are achieving at the same levels as our other students. So you'll see much more attention paid to that in the coming years. And we're bound and determined to prepare our students to compete globally by providing study abroad experiences for all of our middle and high schoolers who meet certain benchmarks. These are just a few of the ideas in development right now at DC Public Schools that we'll be talking more about in the coming months. If we're going to pull all this off, meet the goals of a capital commitment, and push even further to the DCPS that we envision, it's going to take all of us together. Let me make one more commitment before I close. I've shown you this evening that we are on the right track, according to a number of different indicators. I want you to know that we're going to stay the course. We're going to dig in and keep working hard, extremely hard. And I ask that you stay with us. It's not going to happen overnight, and we have challenges ahead. But we can get through them together. We got through consolidations together, and we'll get through the boundary and feeder pattern process together. The only way we can do this work is if we do this together. And the investments that we make together today will yield so much wonderful fruit tomorrow. I look so forward to working with all of you to deliver on a capital commitment and to push even further to make DCPS the best urban school system in the country. Again, we have a long way to go, but I'm here to tell you tonight we are on the right track. We are DCPS. We are DCPS. Did you hear me? We are DCPS, and we can do this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And now to tell you about the rest of the evening, I want to invite to the stage our Chief of Family and Public Engagement, Josephine Robinson.
Thank you. Thank you, Chancellor Henderson. Your message comes through loud and clear. I hope that you all don't make your way out too quickly out the door because we've got more in this program for you to see. My name again is Josephine Bias Robinson. I'm the Chief for Family and Public Engagement, and our charge is to work with all of you, parents, families, and community members. Anyone who's interested in achieving a high-quality education for our children in our schools, we're your partners, and we're here for you. We want to thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are so happy to see so many of you here, and we want you to stay. We've got a wonderful, wonderful array of displays downstairs, folks who are here to show you and bring to life what the Chancellor talked about in her remarks this evening. We also have light refreshments. We know that what's enticing is a little bit of food, and I can assure you that you will be enthralled, you will be engaged, enjoy, and you will learn more of what's happening here in DC. We have got the amazing Ellington Jazz Band downstairs, the new Washingtonians, and we definitely want to hear our young people as well. So I invite you to go down. This is a one-stop shop opportunity for you to see DCPS in all its glory and to really, truly live all of the things that we are doing for you and your children and within our communities and what's happening in our schools. So please come down. If you're wondering what technology looks like, if you have questions about the common lottery that's coming up and that you've heard about, we've got displays downstairs that can help you and give you more information. If you want to learn about bilingual education, anything, there are things there that will definitely pique your interest and you'll be able to truly engage with folks. We've got our chiefs here. We've got our instructional superintendents, and we've got our amazing school leaders. We're all wearing these special badges, so go right up to us. Don't be shy. We're not going to be shy. We're going to go right up to you because we want to talk to you this evening. We want to get to know you, and we want to be in a position where we can give you the information that you need to know that DCPS is on the right path, that DCPS is making progress, and DCPS is where you and your children want to be. So thank you. Please stay. enjoy, chat with us, get a refreshment, and talk. And if you're also interested in seeing this wonderful building, we have 2 tours set up. So go on downstairs in the atrium area, stop by, sign up. 2 tours will start in a few minutes. But thank you, and enjoy the rest of the evening.